Stitch Duran, and everybody knows Stitch. He does in boxing, he's in MMA. I mean, this guy's all over the place. Stitch, tell us, how did you get started in the business there?
Well, you know, it was kind of crazy because in 1974 they stationed me in Thailand. I was a young guy that joined the military, and I went to Thailand. I didn't even know what Thailand was, and I go. Guys invite me to some fights. Guys had already been there for 2-3 months, and I'm thinking boxing, you know. So I go there and it's Muay Thai, and these guys they're in the ring and they're fighting. The guy throws a kick, hits a guy here and knocks him out. And I said, what's that? You know. So I always wanted to study the martial arts if I ever went to an Asian country in the military. So I started training in Taekwondo there, and from there progressed with the incorporation of Muay Thai. And when I got back, I got into boxing to improve my hands, and you know, so I had all my weapons, and then I opened my own school of kickboxing, and that's where I started learning to be a cut man, because I promoted fights and I trained fighters and I managed fighters, and being a cut man was one of the things that you had to do. But I like the blood, man, so I made the move, and you know, here I am in Las Vegas, man.
Now, obviously, right now, the UFC, you're probably one of the most recognizable individuals there, along with Dana and Bruce and people like that. Now, what do you tell a young kid who wants to be an MMA fighter and go into the octagon? I mean, what do they need to do?
Well, you know, first and foremost, these guys that walk into the octagon and just do the MMA, well, let's say walk into the octagon, because that's the A level of MMA. These guys are the greatest athletes I've ever seen. These guys are true gladiators and the nicest guys in the world. I get to work with them one-on-one, but, you know, it's a tough road that they have, and I understand, you know, in boxing and in kickboxing, but these guys do everything, and they make it a full-time job. But if a young guy's going to get in there, and if he wants to learn to do what these guys do, is do it, you know, and just be patient and do it. Do it because you enjoy it, not because you're going to try to make money. I always tell people, if you want to, if you're doing it for the money, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. You got to do it because there's a passion to it, and if you got that passion, you have a good time doing it.
Now, you do your hand wraps and you do cuts and things like that. How about an individual who wants to get into that and, you know, really wants to say, hey, you know, I want to wrap hands, I want to do cuts. How about what do you think they have to get started at?
Well, they got to spend. That's a good question, and you know, I get emails and requests every week. People ask the same question, and you know, it's very simple. I tell them, you know, you got to go in the gym. Everybody sees what I do. You know, they see, you know, me in every part of the world. One night I'm in another town, another. They see that, but they don't know that there's 25 years of experience before that, and I wasn't making a lot of money when I was coming up. I was making no money. I was broke, you know, and but you got to sacrifice. You got to give to the sport before you get something back. And giving is you got to be in there. You got to train fighters. You got to work with the managers. You know, you just got to know the whole complete game and wrap hands, and you know, just learn as you go. And you know, one of these days you might get a break. You know, but if you're going to work a fight as a cut man, first and foremost, the fighter and the trainer are going to have to respect you. They're going to have to know your style of work and how good you are, and if you can perform, then you just blossom from there.
Now, the highest level right now is working with the Klitschko's.
Yeah.
You say the trust is there.
Yeah.
Does he just give you his hands and say, Stitch, do what you got to do?
Yeah, absolutely. Both brothers, you know, and the thing about it is, you know, when I started working with them, they would both get cut. So I'm thinking, shit, that's good, man. I got job security, right? And but lately they've been dominating. They haven't been getting cut, but nonetheless, you know, Vladimir and Vitaly. You know, when a lot of times when I get an assignment with a fighter, I'll get the manager that will call me or the trainer. And these guys call me personally, man. Stitch, you know, there's Vladimir or Vitaly, and you know, you have this date available. They're that kind of guy, you know, those kind of guys. And but when it comes to fight, you know, they know. Like I tell them, I'm your father in the ring. I take care of you, whether you're this big, and you know, and you can knock me out with one shot. In the ring, I'm your father. If I'm working on you, they tell me, we feel very confident. In fact, Vitaly told me one time, he comes up to me and says, Stitch, I want to thank you for taking care of my brother. You know, it means a lot to me knowing that you're in the corner, we're working together. It means a lot to me. And it means a lot to me when they tell me that, you know, so.
And I've noticed that if there's a conflict in dates between UFC and the Klitschko's, you go with the Klitschko's.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And you know, the UFC understands that. You know, we come from a boxing sport of being a cutman. But now that the money that I make with the Klitschko's is probably a little bit more than I make in the UFC event. And but yeah, they are my top clients, no doubt about it. And I'll work with them and support them as much as I can. And in fact, I'll be back in Germany December the 11th, and I was just there 3 weeks ago. So I'll be in Germany September, October, November, and December, all 4 months. Next week I'll be there with the UFC. So. Speak is a Deutsch. Now, you got a Chicano saying, speak is a Deutsch.
Now, tell us about this one video that you did for the taping of the hands, and where can we get it?
Yeah, the video is called "Giving the Fighter One More Round," and it's the first video really that takes you in depth and shows you how to wrap a fighter's hands from a boxer to a kickboxer to an MMA guy, because there's different techniques, right? And but me being a cut man. And getting blown off by old cutmen in the old days that didn't want to tell me, quote unquote, their secrets. I figured for the sport to get better, you got to teach people how to get better, how to take care of the fighters, right? Everybody teaches a fighter how to fight, but nobody teaches a trainer how to take care of the fighter. Well, this video will do that. It will take you step by step on how to wrap hands. And then we also have a session with Dr. Watson and Dr. Davidson, the two top ringside physicians in Nevada, and we talk about the medications that we use, what their function is, and how to apply it, and so we bring out those educational portions. It's an educational video, and it's available at titleboxing.com. So it's giving the fighter one more round.
And how much does it cost?
I don't know. $39, $40.
But it's a good investment for anybody?
Absolutely. Absolutely, it's a good investment. And even for the fan that wants to know what a cutman does, it's a good video for them to see,
Now, one last question, and
sure.
The thing is this: how'd you get the name Stitch, and who gave it to you?
That happened when I was training kickboxers, because that was where I got my first training thing, and I was working with this young guy named Dave Rooney. He was making his pro debut, and I always wanted to be a cutman, so I'm looking and I'm studying these old veteran cutmen, and you got to kind of have to look and don't let them look at you, because they'll hide it, right? Well, Will Edgerton used to kind of give me some basics, and Dave Rooney ended up with a small cut. Now, as I understand cuts, it was a small cut, but nonetheless, it was a cut. So I didn't have no medication, so I just put direct pressure on it. I see what these other cutmen would do, and at the end of the fight, I got some tape and I ripped it, and I kind of closed up the cut, and Dave Rooney says, "Hey man, you saved me some stitches." Stitch, and that's where the name came from. Kind of crazy, huh?
You got it crazy. All right, Stitch. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
No, I got to tell you about my book, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, ask me the question, man.
Okay, about your book.
I just had a book that was released. It's available at Amazon.com, and then the publisher is BlackMesaBooks.com. You could order either way, but it's called From the Fields to the Garden: The Life of Stitch Duran, and actually it's a book that's really designed for the boxing people and the MMA fans, but it's a success story, because I grew up as a farm worker, in the Central Valley, a little town called Planada in the Central Valley of California, and until I was 18, I picked fruit and vegetables, that's what I did. But I always had a dream to be a professional baseball player, and being that I was poor, I couldn't go to school. I walked down to college, started playing baseball. I couldn't afford to go to school, so I joined the Air Force. And in doing that, it took me to Thailand, and it got me here eventually. But the book details my life as I was growing up, and then the behind the scene stories of a lot of the fights that I've worked with, some of the greatest fighters in the world that you never see. You get to see the fights on TV, like the fights tonight. You get to see on TV, but you don't really know what goes in that little cocoon right there. I do, because I'm there, and I give you guys the stories, and they're heartfelt stories, and you get the insight, you get the feeling of what these fighters are, and they're the nicest guys in the world, and the book is doing very well, kind of blew my mind, and I'm just glad to say I got a book written on me.
Okay, give us the title one more time, and where can you pick it up?
Yeah, it's called Giving the no, that's the other. I got too many projects, Carnal. It's called From the Fields to the Garden: The Life of Stitch Duran. And let me tell you the reason for the name. The fields, because I grew up as a farm worker, right? And so it's from the fields to the garden, and the garden is actually Madison Square Garden, because that was always my goal, to make it to the garden. If I made it to the garden, I know I made it to the top. Well, I've been to the garden, brother. So the book is From the Fields to the Garden: The Life of Stitch Duran, and you can get it at Amazon.com or at my publisher. It's a little cheaper at the publisher. The publisher is called BlackMesaBooks.com.
All right, thanks a lot, Stitch.
My pleasure, Carnal. Anytime, man.